Have you checked your mailbox or bank account lately? Because you might be in for a life-changing surprise. The IRS is quietly sending out nearly 1 million surprise stimulus checks worth a staggering $1.80 to Americans across the country. That's right. When most people thought stimulus payments were a thing of the past, the government is dropping unexpected financial relief into bank accounts and mailboxes nationwide. But here's the burning question: are you one of the lucky recipients? And if you are, would you even recognize the payment when it arrives? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly who's getting these surprise checks, why they're being sent now, and most importantly, how you can make sure you don't miss yours if you're eligible. Before we dive into all the details, take a second to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss critical updates about money that could be headed your way. If this video helps you track down a payment you didn't know about, show some love by giving it a thumbs up. It helps more people find this information. And drop a comment below, letting me know if you've received one of these surprise payments already, or if you're still waiting. I read every comment. Let's get straight to the breaking news that has financial experts talking. The Treasury Department and IRS have just announced they're distributing nearly 1 million surprise stimulus checks worth approximately $1.8 billion to eligible Americans. These aren't new stimulus payments approved by Congress. They're actually payments that were previously approved but are just now reaching their rightful recipients due to processing delays, eligibility adjustments, and tax return corrections. You might be wondering, why are these payments going out now, months or even years after the original stimulus packages were approved? That's an excellent question. The IRS has been working through a massive backlog of tax returns from the pandemic era, reviewing millions of filings and making adjustments based on new information. Some of these payments represent plus-up adjustments for people who initially received partial payments but later qualified for more based on their most recent tax returns. Others are going to people who never received their original payments due to processing errors or because the IRS didn't have their correct information until now. What makes these particularly surprising is that many recipients have no idea they're coming. Unlike the well-publicized stimulus rollouts of 2020 and 2021, these payments are flying under the radar for most Americans. You might not be expecting anything, only to discover an extra $1,400 or more suddenly appearing in your account or mailbox. So who exactly is eligible for these surprise payments? There are several groups of Americans who should be paying close attention. First, if your income significantly decreased during the pandemic, but you had previously filed taxes showing higher earnings, you might now qualify for stimulus money you didn't receive before. Second, if you added dependents to your household, perhaps you had a baby, adopted a child, or began caring for an elderly relative, you might be eligible for additional payments for those dependents. Third, if you're a non-filer who recently submitted information to the IRS, you could be receiving payments that were held up until the government had your correct details. Have you moved or changed banks since the pandemic began? This is crucial. Thousands of stimulus payments were returned to the IRS because they were sent to outdated addresses or closed bank accounts. Now that many Americans have filed newer tax returns with updated information, the IRS is resending those returned payments to the correct destinations. Let's talk about the amounts we're seeing with these surprise payments. The average check being sent is approximately $1,800 per eligible recipient, but the actual amount varies widely based on individual circumstances. For some families with multiple dependents, these surprise checks could be worth $5,600 or more. That's life-changing money that could help pay off debt, cover essential bills, or provide some much-needed financial breathing room. Now for the information you've really been waiting for: How can you know if one of these surprise payments is coming your way? The most reliable way to check is through the IRS. Get My Payment tool on their official website, irs.gov. This portal allows you to enter your personal information securely and see if there's any stimulus payment scheduled for you. You'll need to provide your social security number, date of birth, street address, and zip code to access your information. But what if you check the tool and see a message like payment status not available? Don't panic immediately. This could mean several things. Either you're not eligible for a payment, the IRS hasn't processed your payment yet, or they don't have enough information to determine your eligibility. If you believe you should qualify based on your financial situation, it might be worth exploring other options to track down your payment. Did you know that many of these surprise stimulus payments are actually being issued as paper checks or prepaid debit cards rather than direct deposits? This is especially true for payments being reissued after being returned to the IRS. That's why it's absolutely critical to check your mail carefully. These envelopes can look surprisingly ordinary. The checks come in plain white envelopes from the U.S. Treasury, and the prepaid debit cards called Economic Impact Payment, or EIP cards, arrive in white envelopes with a return address from Money Network Cardholder Services, not from the IRS or Treasury Department. I've heard from countless viewers who nearly threw away their stimulus payments because the envelopes looked like junk mail. Don't make this costly mistake. For the next few weeks, examine every piece of mail before tossing anything out. If you receive an EIP card, you'll need to activate it by calling the phone number provided with the card and setting a PIN before you can use it. Here's something many people don't realize. If you never received a stimulus payment you were entitled to, or received less than you should have, you might be able to claim it through something called the Recovery Rebate Credit when filing your tax return. This applies even to the oldest stimulus payments from 2020. The IRS has been processing these claims and sending out payments accordingly, which accounts for some of these surprise checks hitting mailboxes now. But what if you've moved multiple times since the pandemic began, and you're worried your check might have been sent to an old address? Contact the IRS directly to update your information. Yes, their phone lines are often busy, but persistence pays off, especially when thousands of dollars might be at stake. The dedicated phone number for Economic Impact Payment questions is 800-919-9835. Be prepared to verify your identity when you call. Some of you watching might be wondering about the tax implications of these surprise payments. Good news: stimulus payments are not considered taxable income by the federal government. You don't need to report them on your tax return, and they won't increase your tax bill or reduce your refund. They're completely tax-free financial relief. I've received questions from viewers asking, what if I get a payment by mistake? Will I have to pay it back? This is understandably concerning. Generally speaking, if you received a stimulus payment because the IRS determined you were eligible based on the information they had, you won't need to return it even if it was sent in error. The only exceptions would be if you knowingly provided false information or if the payment was for a deceased individual who passed away before the eligibility date for that particular stimulus round. Let's also address another common concern: scams. Unfortunately, whenever government money is being distributed, scammers come out in full force. Remember, the IRS will never call, text, email, or message you on social media asking for personal or banking information related to stimulus payments. They won't ask you to pay a fee to release your payment, and they won't request that you activate anything by providing personal details online. If anyone contacts you claiming to be from the IRS and asks for sensitive information or payment, it's almost certainly a scam. Now, here's a question many of you have been asking. Is this the last round of stimulus payments we'll see? While these aren't technically new stimulus checks, but rather payments from previously approved programs, Many financial experts and economists are discussing the possibility of additional relief in the future, especially as inflation concerns continue. Several proposals have been floated in Congress, though none have gained enough traction to become law yet. I'll be sure to keep you updated on any developments in that area. What should you do if you receive one of these surprise payments? Financial advisors suggest taking a moment to consider your current financial situation before spending the windfall. If you have high-interest debt, putting the money toward that could save you significantly in the long run. If you're behind on essential bills like rent or utilities, catching up would be a priority. And if your emergency fund is depleted after the challenges of recent years, rebuilding that safety net might be the most prudent choice. For those who are in a stable financial position, these surprise funds could be directed toward longer-term goals like retirement savings, education funds, or even modest investments. Remember, these payments were designed primarily to stimulate the economy, so supporting local businesses in your community also aligns with their intended purpose. Have you heard about the additional tax credits that were expanded during the pandemic? Many Americans who qualify for these surprise stimulus payments might also benefit from the enhanced child tax credit, earned income tax credit, or child and dependent care credit. While the advanced monthly child tax credit payments have ended, you can still claim the full credit amount when filing your taxes if you're eligible. These credits could be worth thousands of additional dollars depending on your situation. I've also been receiving questions about state-level stimulus programs. Several states have implemented their own versions of stimulus payments, in addition to the federal programs. California's Golden State Stimulus, Florida's bonus payments for teachers, and relief programs in states like Maine, Maryland, and New Mexico mean residents might be eligible for even more financial assistance beyond these federal payments we're discussing today. What's particularly interesting about these surprise federal payments is the timing. With inflation concerns weighing heavily on many households, an unexpected $1,400 or more could provide significant relief at a critical moment. For a family of 4 receiving the full amount, that could mean over $5,600 appearing in their bank account or mailbox, enough to meaningfully impact their financial outlook during challenging economic times. If this information was helpful, please hit that like button and share this video with friends and family who might be expecting one of these surprise payments. Subscribe to my channel for more updates on financial relief programs and money-saving tips. Drop a comment below, letting me know if you've received one of these surprise payments or if you're still checking your mailbox hopefully every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.